Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a massive winter cooldown that's going to be heading in for the early portion of November. Now, before we get into things, be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. For today's comment of the day, I want to know, how cold do you think this cooldown is going to be, in your opinion? How far below normal can we actually get? Let me know in the comments down below what you think, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Now, this is the high temperatures expected for today. Very September-like for late October, in my opinion. You have a lot of mid to upper 70s here in the southeast. Even heading up into portions of the mid-Atlantic and the northeast, we have upper 60s and lower 70s. It does get quite cool once you head up into the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, and the New England states. But for a lot of these southern regions, it is just very warm compared to normal. But by the time we're reaching November 3rd, this is what the European model thinks the high temperatures will be like. And as you can see, widespread 50s and upper 40s for these regions that were just previously in the 70s. Even as far down as Louisiana, a lot of those Gulf states in general, I guess, are in the mid to lower 50s, which is actually wintertime high temperatures, for their normal wintertime highs. I know here in Virginia, mid 50s here in eastern Virginia is going to be kind of your average high temperature during the winter. So yes, this is a winter-like cooldown and will bring temperatures that are a lot closer to what your normal winter temperatures would be like as the high temperatures. We even have widespread 30s and 40s for the more northern regions, and the potential for some snowfall, some of that first snowfall. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But let's get straight into those temperature anomalies, because we're going to have to break down the timing of everything. And there's actually multiple cooldowns in the foreseeable future, but that one is just the more massive one. And by the time we're reaching this morning, you can see far above normal temperatures for the southeast, near normal conditions for the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, and the New England states. That's why they were a bit cooler, because they're having more like near normal conditions for this late October to early November timeframe. But by the time we reach November 3rd, this is the look on the temperature anomalies. Far below normal temperatures. Those greens are indicating 10 to 15 degrees below normal. And as you can see, most of the eastern half of the country is covered in the green. And then we even have those purplish blues within the greens, and that's where you're 15 to 30 degrees below normal. So a very significant departure from what is typical for most folks here in the eastern half of the country. Now, as we move towards the high temperatures on Tuesday, you can see a bit of a minor cool down moves in early on here. This is going to be a nice, refreshing cool down that'll bring near normal conditions to most of the eastern half of the country. And then Wednesday, this kind of sticks around near normal throughout most of the United States. You see some light yellows and some light blues. That is indicating temperatures that are within 5 degrees from everybody's normal temperature. There is a few more significant anomalies, like those greens going on for the southern Rockies and the reds going on for the upper plains. But outside of those anomalies there, we have very close to normal temperatures for pretty much all of the United States. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on towards Thursday the 28th, Friday the 29th, and even beyond towards early November, where we're going to see that massive cool down head in. We'll even take a look at a potential, mixed snow event that might go on during that huge cool down as well. So we'll talk about all these things within this video. Now, here's by time we're reaching about Thursday the 28th, and as you can see, some greens do show up for the southeast, so that is a pretty significant departure from what is typical. Again, 10 to 15 degrees about for Kansas here, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, and then we have some of that for the Carolinas and Georgia as well. So we do have some far below normal temperatures showing up, but it's just not as widespread as it's going to be by early November. Now, by the time we reach Friday the 29th, this just kind of builds in for those Gulf states, and they're going to be feeling the most significant departure from what's typical, because they're going to have these back-to-back major cooldowns. But for a lot of the other regions, we're going to go from near normal conditions to maybe even slightly above normal conditions to far below normal temperatures for the early portion of November. Now here, we're going to just jump to Sunday, October 31st, or Halloween. And as you can see, for the southeast and I guess in general the eastern half of the country here, we're very close to normal again. Again, these blues that are here are anywhere from about 1 to 5 degrees below normal, and those oranges are going to be anywhere from about 1 to 5 degrees above normal here in the eastern half of the country. We can see a bit of a more major cool down building in for Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota, Nebraska as well, and this is the beginning of that massive cool down that is going to move down This is just a pure Arctic invasion, in my opinion, and this is really going to work its way down into the southeastern United States. But really, like you saw before, the eastern half of the country in general will be basically filled up with below normal temperatures. Here's Monday, November 1st, and as you can see, we're going to start things out for the first day of November near normal. So again, the next 5 to 7 days or so, 7 days would put us to, I guess, the 1st of November. It's going to be mostly near normal for the eastern half of the country. A lot of the departures from normal will be featured in the western half of the country. I mean, by this point, you could see far below normal temperatures for Wyoming, Colorado, Nebraska, Montana, South Dakota, Kansas as well, and then some below, or sorry, far above normal temperatures there for New Mexico and Texas. So we have a big departure from normal there. And by the time we reach Tuesday, November 2nd, you can just see this massive cold front moving through. And look at those widespread blues within those greens. Again, that's 15 to 30 degrees below normal. And that is just very widespread throughout the plains and a lot of the Ohio Valley by this point. We can see the southeast does have a bit of a warm up on this day. We are about, I would say, 5 to 7 degrees above normal. So it will be more pleasant, likely around room temperature or just above it. A lot of what we've been dealing with lately. But this cool down is knocking on the door, obviously, by this point. And as we take a look at this precipitation or simulated radar here, we can see that there is a strong cold front along this, so this will feature some precipitation as well. Already some snowfall developing for Minnesota, Wisconsin, and the upper peninsula of Michigan. Likely a lot of this is lake effect with this massive cool down heading down after the warm temperatures we've seen during the fall. That is going to set up for some nice lake effect snow events, I think, throughout the month of November and possibly even into December. There is the workings for that to happen. As long as we see this ferocious switch from warm to cold, very abrupt, we will see lake effect take effect. But if we see more of a subtle change into winter, that'll kind of limit that lake effect snowfall. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on, and we're going to move on towards the 3rd. We're going to take a look at that snowstorm that could take place for the eastern United States. We're even going to take a look at the teleconnections that are causing this to happen, and then we're going to take a look at a 10-day ensemble forecast for October 30th through November 9th to see what this model is expecting. Now here is Wednesday, November 3rd, the high temperatures. We took a look at this at the early portion of the video, and as you can see, it's just far below normal temperatures for the eastern, I would say 2/3 of the country, in my opinion. Outside of southern Florida, which is more near normal, I'm sure it will reach you guys after that point. But as we take a look at the precipitation, it's clear there is a massive trough in the eastern United States, and we're seeing widespread snow showers. Again, lake effect probably taking effect still for a lot of these regions, but Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, and I think I even see some blue for Massachusetts there as well. We have a strong nor'easter potentially causing a snowstorm for the northern New England states. This is very typical this time of year, and likely I would say this could even happen because, again, it is pretty typical in a pattern like this to see the northern halves of New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine see a pretty decent snowstorm here in early November with this temperature pattern we have in place. And as we take a look at the morning temperature, or sorry, the morning simulated radar from November 3rd, this is probably about 2 a.m., you could see that that nor'easter was actually causing a decent, I would say, mixed snow event for portions of the Appalachian mountain range like North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New York, even a bit of New Jersey, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine by this point. But you can see those blues kind of mixed in with the greens. That's usually indicating a very sloppy storm. I don't think this would accumulate for many of those regions. Maybe West Virginia, we do see this from time to time, and possibly northern Pennsylvania. But I would say mostly if this does take place, the biggest chance would be New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and even Maine. Maybe the Berkshires down there in Massachusetts. But as far as the southern or more middle Appalachian regions, but I guess it is the southern Appalachian regions, I would say West Virginia has the best chance to see accumulating snowfall. But outside of this, you might see flakes mixed with rainfall based on, first off, the ground temperature, which would likely make it much harder to accumulate, obviously, this time of year. But also, we see those greens mixed in with the blues, like I said, which does lead me to believe this would be a mixed event. But it could be an exciting event that features a lot of folks' first snowflakes that they see fall out of the sky. Now, our PNA, this is the main driver in this pattern switch. You can see we go from a negative, which indicates warmer temperatures in the east, to a positive, which really forces cold temperatures to head into the east. It goes strongly positive as we head towards Halloween, and usually give it a couple days lag, and that gets us to the 3rd, and I think that's why that big cool down does occur on that day after you give it that 3-day lag. We actually kind of stay in a positive phase all the way through the 9th, just not quite as positive. So we could feature mostly cold temperatures for the first half of November rather than warm overall. Once we head towards like the 10th through the 15th, that becomes a little more uncertain. But here is the European Ensemble's 10-day forecast for the 30th of October through the 9th of November, which is as far as it goes. And as you can see, cold centered over the east, warm centered over the west, classic positive P&A pattern. And I think this is generally what we can look forward to following Halloween. Now, for our confidence tab, we're at a 4 out of 6, mostly because I talked about this possibly lasting through the 10th. I'm a lot more confident in that, 1st through the 5th time frame. I would likely be at more of a 5 out of 6 for that time frame. But since we went a little bit extended, I lowered it to a 4. Now, for today's comment of the day, we talked about that bomb cyclone in yesterday's video, and I asked you guys how much rainfall you think the West could see. And James Marr said, I believe 10 inches of rain is not out of the question, and even an isolated spot of a foot wouldn't be surprising, and I certainly agree there. Some folks could even push on 15 inches of rainfall with that storm. Super interesting situation out west. For today's Patron Highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our Platinum patrons, Bill Crates, James Wade, Dovey Nagel, Little the Pan, Mandy Birchfield, and Patrick Strickland as well. I would also thank our Diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Kudalesa, Catbite, Charles Dennett, Cindy Klein, Alan Goodmaben, Bill Dallas, Gary's, John Colisi, Dwight Phelan, Stephen Kernethal, and Thomas D. Barr as well. If you'd like to be a part of this very awesome Patreon entry of the day, you can do so by joining our very amazing Patreon page in the description and in the pinned comments down below. I would also thank our channel members here, Catbite, Stephen Fan, and Jeremy Cox as well. If you'd like to be a part of this end screen of the day, you can do so by joining our channel membership in the it's actually next to the subscribe button down below. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and as always, subscribe for more weather-related content. I will see you guys in the next video.